Valley, host of Africa Now, and you're tuned to member-supported WPFW, Washington.
And welcome back to Community Watch and Comment here on WPFW 89.3 FM, Jazz and Justice Radio, Tuesday, September 29th. I'm Eugene Puryear. As many people have seen, Mayor Muriel Bowser's new proposal for a Wizards practice facility on St. Elizabeth's campus down in Ward 8 here in Washington, D.C. has turned the talk once again to development and employment issues in Ward 8 and east of the river overall. The question on everyone's mind is, can these large corporate developments present any benefits to the community? So joining us here today to talk about a plan that they have to expand economic opportunity in Southeast are Nic Colbert and Stuart Anderson, who are also working on an Expo project called EntreDC that we want to really talk about here. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Man, it's my pleasure to come on the air and be able to share this with you. Man, this thing is phenomenal.
Okay, well, we're gonna get to that. I want to ask you a couple general questions first, and I want to really say this is a hot topic. So please give us a call, 202-588-0893 here in the studio with our guests. So first and foremost, Stuart, I wanted to ask you a question, and I want to ask you a question, and Dominic to just open it up. But feel free, both of you guys, to jump in whenever. And Stuart, as a returning citizen, there is so much discussion around employment and the difficulty of returning citizens becoming employed. So I wanted you to just talk a little bit about the importance of entrepreneurship to returning citizens and their struggles, I guess, as you could say, coming back home.
That's a wonderful question, and it is the perfect question for me. You know, I came home 7 years ago, and when I came home, there's this perception, there's even this taboo that returning citizens cannot work for themselves. In fact, the U.S. Parole Commission and the governing authorities try to stand against that. So I'm the example of, man, I'm going to do it anyway. And so I've been an entrepreneur ever since I've come home. And when I talk and I counsel returning citizens, I say, man, don't spend a little bit of money that your family and your friends give you to get about the city, running back and forth, banging your head against the wall. Sit down, plot your plan, and, man, come out and execute your plan. Use that money to go forward into your entrepreneurial endeavor.
Mm-hmm. And Dominic, the question I want to throw at you, and not just about returning citizens in general, but folks east of the river, the conversation that you hear so much around quote unquote workforce development in DC is, well, these people aren't ready. They don't have the skills. They don't have the capital. They just aren't really employable. And that's why they're in the situation that they are in. But your office is on Good Hope Road Southeast. You do a lot of work in workforce development. And you seem to believe, from what we see with this Expo, and we'll talk about that folks east of the river, Ward 8, are not only employable, but can operate their own businesses. So I wanted you to just speak a little bit more about that. Say a little bit why you have this desire that many people, other people say is not possible.
Well, thank you for that question. Well, I'm native to east of the river, both sides of the MLK corridor, from southeast all the way to southwest by our Ball Eagle Rec Center. So I'm an example of someone east of the river starting a business, but not only starting a business, but using entrepreneurship to help people. My company, Sales and Margins, is a for-profit company, but yet I am providing a free program to help not just people who are returning citizens, but people who are on TANF assistance, people who are PhDs and law degrees east of the river in our program. So it's a mixture, and every single one of them have phenomenal ideas. But the beautiful thing about it is that they're using their business to help people while making a profit. And what better industry or what better field or profession would you rather be in than entrepreneurship and helping people? So absolutely, that is a myth. People east of the river and other areas like it, just like on the Georgia Avenue corridor, they have talents, they have skills, and if you give them the right infrastructure, they can not only thrive, but also help others do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And before we get directly into the Expo, which speaks to this, I was wondering if you could just say a little more. What is the right infrastructure that people need?
Okay, well, the right infrastructure is, first of all, you got to give them hope. You have to believe in them, right? So when I tell people that I'm focusing on not just people who are educated, but folks who have like no GED or high school diploma, but they have the talent, because it's about passion, it's about purpose. And I believe everyone has a calling. So once you help them identify what that purpose and calling is, then the hope comes. They start to have self-confidence. They start to have belief. And then what you do, you give them the skill sets. So I don't just train them, I also counsel them. I coach them. They call me Coach Nick because there are certain behaviors that I call broken behaviors that you have to address. So we don't focus just on the X's and O's, because anybody can teach that. You have to focus on building that person. And then once you build that person, it's easy to get in the skill sets and then access to capital, whereas they don't need a credit check, or they don't need to go through assets or collateral, because it's about really helping people. And most of the micro